So should we start the show? I have a sick child in the other room, so this might not go anywhere.
We can. What would you like to discuss? How do you feel?
Well, if we're going in order,
Yeah.
and if I remember correctly, we're in spooky times.
I'm already scared.
So we probably should do. We should probably introduce introduce the fucking podcast.
Three, two, one. Backlog.
Welcome back to 321 Backlog. This is a podcast about video games. I am one of the hosts, James. This is my other buddy here, my good friend Alec, a connoisseur of all things beard. How you doing today, man? You had a great day so far, I believe.
Oh,
oh no, dude.
Oh man, nah. My Fridays are either just a joke of nothing to do, or they're ridiculous with work, or like today, I've got a sick 9-month-old who is not doing well. He's napping right now, so we're gonna see how long that lasts.
Yeah.
So who knows how long this recording's gonna be?
What a blast, dude.
Yeah, it's great.
I think you kind of mentioned this, but I think a 9-month-old would either nap for no time at all or an entire month.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I just put candy in my mouth. His
What are we eating?
I didn't tell you, but I decided to go keto earlier this week.
Oh, nice.
So of course I'm having sweet tarts.
Okay. Those are a sugar-free snack.
That's how well my week has gone.
Damn.
And I'm gonna wash it down with a Coca-Cola. So,
I'm drinking.
What was your question?
I'm sitting on a chair drinking pre-workout. So here we go.
Yeah, I finished mine about an hour ago.
Mm.
What was your question? I feel like you asked me something. How? Yeah. So he's
doing well.
He's doing all right. He had a really a wet, raspy cough.
Oh, okay.
And every time he wakes up, he's full. The snot's running, the chest's very congested, all that stuff. We got an appointment later today. Just waiting for that. It's. I mean, I thought it was difficult for adults to be seen last minute, but getting kids to be seen is not much easier.
I feel like kids and animals is worse.
Yeah.
Well, God bless them, dude. Good luck. I wish I could.
Yeah,
I wish I could honestly say, let me know if you need anything, but I can't do anything for you unless you want jokes. Do you want me to make a joke about your kid being sick?
He needs Uncle James.
Yeah. What game are we talking about? Speaking of sick kids, do you want to talk about a game with sick kids, or do you want to talk about a game with a guy who had a sick kid childhood?
Well, as we all know, you and I and people listening, today is our first episode into spooky season.
Yep, it's October for you guys.
We're talking about we're going into our season of spook, and the first game we brought up was just to ease us in. We're not going too crazy with the scariness, but we're starting
weird.
with what's that?
I don't know. I was just watching a podcast earlier before this with a porn star in it, and all the stuff you're saying is just hitting weird. We're gonna ease into it. I don't know, man. Go on.
Well, we've played and we are now discussing Devil May Cry. Is it DMC Devil May Cry?
DMC Devil May Cry. Yeah, yes. It's like the reboot of the series attempt. That was all in, dude.
That didn't mute?
I wonder if you're using your webcam mic, because you do sound a little bit. Yeah.
Oh no.
That's okay.
No.
We're gonna back up then. We'll just do the intro again, I guess.
No, here. How about now? Does that change it?
Oh man, you sound like $1,000,000.
We'll leave it. We'll let everyone wonder why my voice just changed.
Puberty.
Yep, I just went through all the puberty right now.
Yeah, I'm glad we figured that out now. Can you imagine?
Yeah, I'm wondering how that edit's going to go, because I went to clear my throat with the fury of 1,000 suns, and you're like, yeah, that all came through.
Well, I'm glad you did. I saw you mute it, and I was like, oh, he's gonna do something nasty.
Oh
Speaking
Lord.
of something nasty, man, did you like this game?
So
Wait, dude, wait. Have you ever played a Devil May Cry game before?
I have not.
Okay, you
I
know
was
anything about them?
I other than like I feel like it's one of those games for me. Like I've known the name of it. Like oh yeah,
Yeah,
Devil May Cry. It's a video game with
yeah.
devils or something. I've never played one, and I don't think I've ever seen one played either.
Okay.
So I did not know what we were getting into.
Yeah. This specific game, I guess it was a reboot of the series. 2013, all platforms, PS3, Xbox 360, Windows. It was apparently received pretty well. I guess like from in general, the reviews were good, like 9 out of 10 on Steam.
Mhm.
Just Googling shit here. Eurogamer was a 8 out of 10. GameStop 4.5 out of 5. But I think among fans of the series, this was kind of a black sheep a little bit. They had like a rough patch, but I was excited to play this game, and I was under a false pretense. I thought this game was popular because it was good. I guess
Gotcha.
this game is
Gotcha.
popular because it's not great. It's like,
in
you know,
in like thematically great, quality great, gameplay great. What's or just maybe it was
so yeah.
yeah. I'm
Yes, the answer is probably sure.
maybe it was trying to hold up to the hype of a game that was very well known before.
Yeah, I think that so I played Devil May Cry 1 through 3, PlayStation 2, I think. And
Mhm.
then I played a little bit of Devil May Cry 4, and it kind of disappointed because it wasn't focused on the characters that we were familiar with. Then this one came out as a prequel, so I think the people were very hyped for it and thought it was going to be really good. It wasn't a bad game gameplay wise, but it was just pretty fucking cheesy. There was a lot of cheese with this game. And then a lot of I've got things to discuss, but I think it's generally regarded as a low point in the series among fans. And
For this specific one,
this specific one, yeah. And I
really?
was excited to play it because I saw if there's a YouTuber I watched that's been reviewing these over the last couple months, which kind of got me hyped to play it. But he put out a review for this one, and I hadn't played it yet. But all I saw was him saying, like, I am very excited to play this game. And then I was like, okay, well, I don't want to spoil it for myself. So I cut the video. But I guess those are the reasons. It was kind of controversial. But
gosh.
this game
So
was
he was
Ninja
excited to
Theory.
play because it was bad.
Kind of, yeah.
I gotcha.
I personally don't think it was. I played it, I think, in 2 sittings.
Mhm.
I enjoyed it enough.
Mhm.
So Ninja Theory was the publisher, developer, platform, rating, critic score, everything about this. I just noticed in all of the credits early in the game, it was like Ninja Theory, Ninja Theory, Ninja Theory, Ninja. It's like, yeah, I don't know who that is, but I fucking get it.
I feel
dude.
like I've
you're
heard them with. I've seen that name before. I know Ninja Theory's been around.
Oh wow,
What else do they do? Because I feel like I know games that do
Hellblade,
that.
Senua's.
That's what it is.
Sacrifice.
Yeah.
Is that game cheesy?
That game is interesting. That's a whole discussion,
Okay. Yeah.
which I would
maybe
love to
next
do on the
episode.
podcast because I've watched that gameplay, but they're coming out with a second one, and I'd love to actually play it.
I think I might have that game on Steam. I don't know for certain, but
Yeah.
I probably have it on some platform because it's probably been given out. But yeah, so the 2013, it's a little bit of an older game. It was on my backlog. This
I was going to bring that. This came out in 2013. You said?
Yeah, 10 years old.
Wow. Okay.
Yep.
All right. So that clears some things up for me.
Yeah, I feel like it like kind of fit the time period of being like edgy and like moderately to severely sexist.
Oh my god, dude! I mean, you
dude,
get some
there's like
straight
one.
Up, I mean, the intro is just straight up like
It was pretty crazy,
softcore
right?
porn, almost.
Yeah. Did you? All right. Well, I don't know. So you played it on Steam?
On the Steam Deck, yeah.
Steam Deck, yeah. I played it on my PC because my deck was still dead.
That's right.
But it was kind of, I don't know, it was kind of like reminiscent of like the time before that. Like I still played with a controller, but I just plugged it in at my computer and played that way.
Yeah, it played very well on the deck. Everything was responsive. It was graphically for a 2013 game. It was on par. I didn't look anything up for this game ahead of time. I think I just thought that it was newer because I didn't have any frame of what
Yeah.
this of really the details around the franchise. So I thought this was like it came out like a year or two ago or something. I didn't know when it had come out.
Oh, can you imagine? We shattered one of your rules, man. There is 4 games, I think, ahead of that. Like
Really,
DMC
really.
1 through 4, and this was the 5th game, and then they made DMC 5.
Well, cut the recording
But
off. We're done.
good night, sweet prince. But yeah, well, I mean, they're very. Do you even have interest? Would you even, like, in retrospect, would you even have interest in playing other games of the series?
If I mean, I wouldn't flat out say no. It wouldn't be anything from my side of the list. The I think because what would you categorize this game as? It was like action hack and slash. Yeah,
Yeah,
I've
for
never
sure.
really done hack and slash games. The
It's like God of War on steroids
only hack and slash games I remember doing, and I don't even know if this fully qualifies. Remember,
on meth.
oh, was it Dynasty Warriors? You
Never
remember
played it, but I'm
that?
familiar. Hated it.
Like
It doesn't look
it was
good
a
to me.
very weird. I mean, there's been like a
Yeah.
30 of them. I think that was the only like you're the one guy with hundreds of enemies. That's the
Yeah.
only type of game like that I've played years and years ago. But with the when I started playing it, because confession, I did not finish my playthrough of this game,
Bastard.
and I'm kind of not surprised because it became very repetitive
Yeah.
in between
Yeah,
the story
for sure.
beats. I enjoyed what I ended up playing through, and then what I subsequently went and watched. I did enjoy the story they were trying to tell. Some of the
Yeah.
acting choices and dialogue choices were a little funky, but you know.
Oh, dude. If you're familiar with the series, there's like some real bad dialogue and acting choices.
So I think it was good there, so I did enjoy that. But the older I get, the more repetitive and like grindy. If there's like, oh hey, this is the section of the game where you grind, like I don't want it. I'm starting to
Yeah.
realize I don't like that more and more as I get older, because I'm like, as today and this weekend is going to turn into, I'm running out of time. So if I'm sitting there
Yeah.
doing a game, and like if I have to spend hours and hours to just do a repetitive thing to make progressing the game easier or just happen, I lose interest very, very quickly.
Yeah.
So
you
so yeah,
loved it?
that's
10 out of 10.
so yeah, 10 out of 10. I mean, I'd even dial it up to 11. So but I like certain things of it. I didn't like certain things of it.
I think the
But
combat was good. I think the combat in the game was really good, especially when you get further in it and there's a lot of different weapons in it. I thought the gameplay of that was good. I'll mention this. This will be the first out of 400 times. The fucking platform in this game was annoying. I hated it.
yeah,
I didn't
yeah,
like, especially when you get the weapons where you can like zip line or whatever you want to call it, like grapple hook and stuff.
right.
In the
You
combat,
got
it
this
was
very
awesome.
early.
Yeah, in the
Yeah.
combat part of it was great. You had the ability to either pull an enemy to you or pull yourself to an enemy, and you could
Right.
actively pick what you were going to do. That was cool. But like, I don't care about grapple hooking, zip lining to platforms, jumping between things, using the little glide function.
Right.
It was annoying to
Yeah,
me. And that was the biggest, like, just felt like a slog.
when I start seeing a mechanic come into play where your character has to jump and or double jump, and then you can then get in the air to your maximum point and then dash forward. I was like, it's not. It's certain games have that particular mechanic, and it's weird.
Yeah.
Like
Double
I think Ori
jumping in
had that.
general. Yeah, Ori had it, but double jumping was an upgrade. But just in general,
Right.
oh yeah, it did have a little glide too. But in general, man, I think double jumping in a game kind of makes it feel cheap a little bit. Especially this game, you start out with it. Double jumping in the first DMC game was an upgrade you could get way later on, but this game's setting was weird, man. I'm sorry, this has nothing to do. It was weird. I hated the limbo part, man. And that was the whole game. But
that was the thing. It was the entire game. You were in limbo more than you weren't.
And that wasn't in any of that I recall. That was not in any of the other games. And I just remember the first time it happened where the like walls would show up with words on it. I was like, wow, that's kind of cool. It's like I thought it was part of the intro. I was like, oh, this is cool. This is, and then it's like 8 hours later,
Yeah.
it's like,
It
yeah,
was
fuck you, Dante, on the wall.
there were things I did like about the game, so I don't want to fully trash it. I just it didn't hold my interest enough, and I had enough going on outside of podcast games that I kind of had to focus on other things, so I wasn't too upset about putting it down.
Yeah.
If you like hardcore rock music and thrasher music and all that, amazing soundtrack.
Yeah, it fit the
I
game, but
loved it.
I didn't care for it. But it was a good fitting game.
It fit well,
soundtrack.
and it got me in the mood. When I first started playing it, the first hour I played, I was genuinely enjoying myself.
Oh,
Not,
cool.
like fully.
Yeah.
It was very fun, and the music just put me in that thing of
It
like,
was
okay,
well
yeah,
done,
we're having
yeah,
some,
I
yeah,
agree.
it was really nice.
It was a very impressive intro. I had high hopes for it with the intro of it for gameplay and everything.
Oh my goodness, the intro of just introducing Dante, where he's flying through his trailer.
Yeah.
And where he's like putting his clothes back on. That was amazing. If you haven't played this game and just want to watch that scene, just watch the opening scene of DMC Dante's
Dante can cry.
field.
Dante's
can cry.
what? Creamfield? Did
I
you?
don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it was a very good intro, and it kind of set me up for like unrealistic expectations for what the game was, because I think that in a lot of ways was the peak of the game for me, for gameplay and everything. It just it was like the platforming felt quick and aggressive, and then it kind of faded out from there very, very slowly. I wanted to point out one thing, just one part. I know a lot of the dialogue was kind of cheesy in this game, but there was one part where I just cracked up about it. There was like a part where you first go into like your childhood memories or something like that. Do you recall? You go into a mansion.
Yes.
Yeah, and your brother, he's your brother at this point, I think, right? Virgil.
I can't remember if he tells you right before or after you go into the mansion. I think possibly right before, but
yeah,
inconsequential.
I think anyone that knows the series probably knows it's your brother. You guys look similar. You guys are the same age. He's a very bad dresser. Anyway, he says, be careful going in there. It can get pretty rough. And he looks at the girl and he says, I like it rough. And then he jumps in.
God.
What if that happened to be his sister? There's really no, like, they're all about the same age. They all clearly have some powers. What if you just look, he looks right at his sister and he's like, I like it rough. And then jumps into this little portal thing. I just thought that was like, you shouldn't say stuff like that when you're at a family reunion.
Yeah, the dialogue was questionable at best.
But that's part of the series, dude.
Oh my god, the voice acting was, I don't know, slightly below par. Like it was cheesy and corny, and that could have been because of the dialogue they were given.
I think that's they call that campy, and I think that's one of the appeals to the series sometimes.
Right.
Some people like that. But
I definitely think it has its place. But if the story ends up being too serious and then you have that, I think it takes away from it. So depending on what they were trying to go for the overall feeling and theme of this game,
yeah,
if it was trying to be campy the whole way, great. I think some of the I don't think it got too heavy. I mean, what was the girl's name? The medium, I can't remember her name.
I don't remember either.
Stacy.
I think it was definitely Stacy. It was probably.
Sure.
I feel like it started with like a K or a Kim or something.
Ethel.
It was Ethel. Yeah.
Yeah. With Ethel. All right. So yeah, I mean, with the medium Ethel, which 100% is
Cat. It was Cat. I was close.
It was Cat. Damn it. All right. So Ethel Cat was. I mean, I guess she had she had her demons in her backstory and all that. No, you can't play with that booger.
Whoa.
My boy's trying to type on the keyboard that's like brightly glowing. He wants to type.
He's having a good time.
He is.
So did you did not finish this game, but did you get to the ending via
I did watch. Yeah, I did watch probably half of it.
Okay.
I watched the whole thing. I played through I think maybe okay. So I think I played through maybe a third of it,
Yeah.
and then I watched the rest
Okay.
on the YouTubes.
I just thought one thing that was kind of funny to me was there's a guy later on. I don't remember that guy's name either, but he was
Quincy
missing his
Jones.
eye.
It was a Q name, like Quentin
Oh
or
yeah, probably.
Quincy, or it was like a black guy missing an eye. Didn't he have like half of his fucking head missing?
Yeah, because I think he had an ability. Basically, that Phineas was his name.
Phineas. I was close. I was close.
Phineas was his name. Yeah. It's funny because when he showed up on the screen, and I just knew immediately that I was going to spend 3 chapters of this game doing something stupid with this guy's eye for just extending the game. I felt myself rolling my eyes, which I thought was kind of funny because he was missing his eye. Also, why couldn't he see? Like, why was he completely blind if he was missing one eye? I don't get it.
know.
But yeah, you got some ability or something like that because of that. I don't know. It honestly was just such a dumb part, but I don't know. I didn't like any of that part, but the boss after that was 10 out of 10, dude.
Yeah, I kind of wish I was able to play some of the boss fights again because I do like boss fights. I had the same issue with God of War. The continuous adds and enemies, like the throwaway ones, got annoying after a while. All the like minor demons and stuff that Dante has to fight through. I don't want to do that over and over again. Just let me get to the next story beat and the next boss. So I wish I was able to play some of those. The playthrough I watched was all the story beats and then the boss fights.
Right.
And watching some of those were pretty interesting. So I did like seeing that.
Bob fucking Barbas is probably one of my that guy is one of my favorite bosses, I think, in all in almost any game I've ever played. Just for it's weird because that was the true highlight of this game for me. The other bosses were kind of not exceptional to me, honestly.
Right.
But that guy, it was cool because it was very unique. I feel like it was like I don't know, maybe there's another boss similar to this in another game, but I've never seen, I don't know, the way the boss fight was presented was really cool. And I really liked this scene where it like zoomed out and put you on like a dock and they were basically doing a news report on you. And they're like, do you remember that?
I remember the news story. I remember the news stories coming into play.
Yeah. Do you remember any of the dialogue? Okay. So he's like this hyper conservative Christian guy, but he's actually a demon, which was kind of funny. But when you're fighting on the docks, like they're just talking so much shit about the main character of the game while you're killing these demons. Yeah.
That's right.
And they're like, they even said something like he's been going to nursing homes and just having sex with old people. Like just every like bad slanderous thing they could say about you. Like they were just putting it in there.
I remember some of his levels were like you were walking through like a limbo version or a Limbo with like a newsroom kind of thing. So it was like bright whites and reds and looked like a Fox News horror story.
I think he was kind of a play on some of the Fox News people a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
Probably.
Bob fucking Barbas.
From 2013.
Yeah.
Just
Bob fucking Barbas, dude. I did like that boss a lot. I didn't like the platforming leading up to it, but I didn't know what I was getting into with it. I just thought this is really stupid. Like it's a Limbo.
Which boss was the one that was massive? It had a ton of phases. I think it was the what was the drink called? Yeah, the one with the drink. The in the story the drink.
I don't remember what the name of the drink was. I didn't do my homework very well, but yeah, there was a boss it was a succubus, which was like kind of. Succubuses are supposed to be like tantalizing creatures, right? Like in D&D and stuff.
In other media,
like a giant,
it was like a big slug, like a brood mother or something, a queen bee thing. But yeah,
I thought that boss fight was lame as hell to me.
I think it like visually it looked kind of cool when I was watching it back. I didn't get that far playing, but watching it looked visually interesting.
I feel like the end boss was similar in that it kind of felt like it was like you go through a phase, you do some damage, and then you have to move to the left or right platform and then get to the next phase. And then it would just kind of repeat that that's how the last boss was, and that's how the succubus fight was too. I just thought it was kind of boring,
Right.
but cinematically it was nice. What did you think of the lady in the? What did you think of the main villain? I guess that's should be brought up because he's kind of the antagonist of the whole story.
Yeah, I feel like they're trying to make a parallel to something.
Right. I couldn't
He's
quite
like,
grab onto what, but yeah.
I mean, I could probably mutter my way through it and kind of articulate what I think they're going towards, but it's like this guy who's controlling the world through debt, I think it was. And I think one of the first
so
scenes
evil
you
that
see him,
guy. What a demon. What a devil.
He's talking to, I think we assume, the president of the U.S. and like got him under his thumb or whatever it is. So like
Hideo Kojima in this one.
yeah, maybe. So I don't know. I think it was interesting. I would have liked. I don't know. There was a weird scene where he was, railing his mistress,
and her
who
skin was falling
like
off,
pulling her skin back, and so yeah, it was nasty.
Yeah,
it was interesting. I don't know. I don't think I have an opinion about it. I'm sitting here trying to come up with like a genuine thought, and it's just kind of all right. It's just a bad guy.
Yeah, he was like kind of generic, right?
Yeah.
The mistress lady was more interesting to me, just in the sense that it was like, what's going on under that skin, and why is she like? If you can pick how you want to look, why would you look like that?
Yeah,
and
you know what I think part of it was the big bad and Barbas, the news guy.
Yeah,
their models looked slightly similar. They were both
like an overweight white guy,
slightly overweight white bald guy.
Barbas, I think, had a set of hair. He had like the good boy comb over.
I think it was like balding.
Well, yeah, I mean that's what we do.
He looked malnourished.
Yeah. He looked malnourished but overweight. It's possible. Yeah. Did you like the fight against the mom? The I don't know if you got that part of the story. So basically,
I saw all of it. Let's see. He went to the nightclub.
Yeah,
and then
that was kind of stupid.
She like trapped him, and like basically, I think she threw a bunch of stuff at him.
Yeah, like let's go back to Limbo,
and then fought him. I think.
Yeah. Like, if you can finish this annoying platforming bullshit, then you can now fight me, and we'll see how that goes. I thought that part was stupid. That boss fight was like the hardest boss in the game for me.
Really?
Yeah, the final boss was like mind-numbingly easy. I don't know if it's because I just had a better grasp on the game or more abilities or
now are we talking? We're talking about the bald guy, right?
Yeah.
Or the last fight of the game.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's right. The bald guy, Mundus, was easy.
Mundus, that's his name.
He was probably the easiest boss in the game, honestly.
Really?
For me, I thought, yeah.
Yeah, it could be all the abilities, because by then you've upgraded and done all this stuff.
Yeah.
And I was going to make this comment earlier. I think that's what broke the enjoyment for me, or what kind of like clicked if I've got other stuff to do, I think I'll do that and just watch.
Right.
The first menu I had to go into, that's when it started breaking for me.
What's that?
Like having
menus
to
of buying abilities and stuff?
And upgrading and buying things, and it like the font used and how it was formatted was it reminded me of an arcade.
It, I think, is reminiscent of the first of the early titles of the game. Right. It might be it's a staple of the series.
Gotcha.
You would find these statues, and then you could upgrade abilities and stuff like that.
Right. But I think, and sorry, because we were so off this topic, but excuse me. As you're doing your hack and slash, fighting everything, raining, doing your bullet hell sections and all that, you've got this like score up in the top right that's just like counting points or something. I didn't quite understand what that was supposed to be.
It's just a part of the series.
And it just felt arcadey and
yeah. Well, I think Capcom is known for like being a big arcade game company too. They make a lot of arcade fighters and stuff. So that kind of do they make Street Fighter?
That
because that's probably
if
they make
not,
Resident Evil games, which is pretty cool. I didn't actually. Let me tell you that Devil May Cry, the first game, was a Resident Evil game, and then they were like, "Oh, this is a little weird."
Really?
And if you play it or if you see it, it has a lot of Resident Evil feel to it. Like just the setting, you're in this giant offshore mansion.
Mhm.
I know that's completely irrelevant to anything, but they do make Street Fighter, and
Okay.
it was So it was kind of that is what I was hoping for with this game, was more
Right.
of that kind of feeling and like a more of a horror setting instead of just
Right.
limbo, Ninja Theory, Limbo, Ninja Theory, Ninja Theory, Limbo. You know,
I gotcha.
I wanted
Okay,
to
so back to what we were talking about.
the baby
uh,
boss,
Baby boss.
fetus deletus.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
That was weird. That was fucking weird.
it was. Yeah, that was the hardest boss for me. I did die one time and I had to start over.
Really?
Fetus deletus, I did not make that up. Someone else made that up, but it was funny to me. Yeah, that was the toughest boss for me in the game.
Oh, what was the reference they were making at again going way back to the beginning of the game? As he was through the whole beginning intro, a white wig fell on his head.
Yeah,
I
so
assume it was from a different game. Was it like a character or something?
it's what he looks like when he gets older.
Oh, I
Yeah,
gotcha. Okay.
and that was kind of that dude. See, and that's what I mean when I say like the intro of the game as a fan of the series when I was a kid. I was like, yeah, this is pretty neat, you know, like they do a little callbacks to the earlier games and stuff. Yeah, so he has like a blonde, like platinum whitish blonde hair, whatever.
Okay.
And he even starts to get a little bit of that as he becomes more devilish.
Yeah. So
yeah,
so are
that's
the
what
other
that
games? The other games are Dante.
Except
It's the
for
same
4,
character. Okay.
except for 4, Dante is presented as a villain in Devil May Cry 4. I don't think he actually is.
Oh,
But
interesting.
he has the blonde hair. He is the character of those games.
Right.
I'm putting in the chat real quick just so you can see what he looks like in the later titles. This is the biggest picture in the world that I sent you.
Oh, okay. Yeah. See, I've seen that.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's what and that's why the wig was like, oh, not in a million years or something like he said.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
You maybe experienced this, but probably not. It was worse later on in the game, but the camera in this game was absolutely atrocious, dude. Did you have a lot of camera issues, or was it pretty tame for you?
I don't think either I didn't play enough of it to see an issue, or it was fine.
There was one thing where I was just tired of dealing with these certain enemies. There's like certain enemies that they like teleport around. They're like samurai looking guys or like ninja theory characters.
Right.
And they teleport around. They take so long to beat, at least with the play style I had, they would just take forever because you'd have to like wait for an opportunity to actually attack them. And I just ran away from it. But the camera was snapping back to the thing, even though I was like 5 minutes away from playing against that enemy.
Okay.
And it would just like, I'd be like running and try to go into a door, and the camera would like do a fucking 270 back to where this guy was 3 rooms ago.
Right, because
I'm like,
they're wanting you to beat all the baddies.
Yeah, this guy should have
Yeah.
despawned or something. And the
Right.
camera should, and then I would fight the camera in like enclosed spaces too. That's just a big complaint I have about the game in general. The combat was good, but the camera was 50% of the difficulty.
Hey guys, Alec here. Wanted to jump in real quick and give you a little reminder of what we've got going on behind the scenes. First off, there's an extended version of this episode available on our new Patreon page right now. All of the extra banter, tangents, and off-topic rants we inevitably go on. Oh, and yep, it was available last week. That's right, for $1 a month, you get them early and they're extended episodes. You can find them at patreon.com/321backlog. Also, while you're tracking down our extra content, consider following us on our socials. 321backlog on TikTok, Instagram, and whatever Twitter happens to be called this week. All right, recap. We have Patreon, socials, and we're going to get back to the episode.
So yeah, we kind of talked about the final boss. I knew from later on in the series that Virgil was going to end up being bad. I just never really understood why he became bad. I guess he just was trying to, I don't know, there were hints that he was going to be a bad guy through the game if you had never played any of them before. Like he was willing to leave the girl, the medium.
Yeah.
He was like, oh yeah, fuck her. She doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
And then he ends up being the final boss, which was very boring and easy. It felt like those bosses, that the enemies that I said I hated, it felt
Yeah.
like that. And Virgil is in the other games, he'll be like a quick fight that you'll have to go through. I think in pretty much every game, it's usually a really good time because it's like challenging and he has a lot of very similar moves to you.
Mm-hmm.
But in this game, I didn't enjoy it very much. And I had this issue too, where I would be trying to kill him, and he would like stop and then regenerate his health. And I didn't realize that you needed to use the devil trigger thing to even be able to kill him.
Right.
But that was the only time I ever used the devil trigger the entire time I played the game. I guess it's very overpowered, but I just never felt the need to use it.
Right. Yeah, there's it reminded me, down to the color scheme, it reminded me of an ability or like a thing you get in Ghost of Tsushima, which is like I think it's called the Ghost Stance. It's very powerful and all that, and it's really cool, but it's so awkward to use that it ends up not being appealing to use it.
Right.
If that's kind of how the devil trigger's coming across.
It kind of reminds me of like God of War, the rage state, whatever it's called. Spartan Rage. I hardly used it unless it was like I absolutely needed a break from getting wailed on, or I needed the heal. So I just never ended up using it in this game because it was not a very challenging game to me. These enemies, they don't have a way to break a combo. So if you're beating the shit out of them, they never really had a way to interrupt you the way that they do in other games. So what was your favorite weapon that you played with?
I like ranged stuff.
Okay.
So even though
Use the
I felt like
guns.
they didn't do much damage, I did like the guns.
I think the handguns themselves only existed for the most part to help you keep your combo going.
Right.
Did you like the rating system? I'll ask about that, and then we can go right back. I don't want to forget
the
that.
thing at the top,
And at the end too. Yeah, how you had a rating system for each mission. It's like, who cares?
No,
What's the incentive?
That's the thing. Equating it to my favorite series, Assassin's Creed, one thing that, which one was it? Unity did, was every time you finished a mission, it would pause the game and say like, how did you like it? Have any feedback? It would like broke you from the game to have like a menu to look at. It's like, well, fuck off. Let me play.
Yeah.
Right? If I continue playing, that's how much I like the game. I don't need to do this extra step. Right? So I don't think I got to too many of them, and then later on the playthrough I skipped those screens.
Yeah.
So I don't think I was as aware of them. Yeah, but that I don't for this kind, I don't know, maybe for this Devil May Cry type of game, it's a little bit more appropriate, but typically I would not want that put into my game.
I feel like it's a staple of the series for the most part because it was necessary probably on the first games when they were on PlayStation 2. But I hope that as they go forward, they will come up with a way to incorporate it and make it different and new and feel more modern, because it does feel it's getting kind of old after 20 years.
Yeah. So the system in the screen appears, you finish the game, and then at the bottom of the screen, see your rating. If you want, hold X or whatever. And you can if you want to, or you can ignore it and continue to play the video game.
Yeah, just start loading it while it's putting up the stats or something like that. You know, kind of like how I don't want to keep going back to God of War.
Yeah, if you're going into a load screen, okay, cool. Now you can show it to me while we're loading. Check out how you did on your last mission. That's fine.
Yeah.
Right. And I hate getting to get to games and then shitting on them, but
oh, don't worry, man. I got you on the next game.
I think because this type of game, this is my first go at this type of game, and it didn't have the appeal.
Right.
So I'm trying to find what people are finding enjoyable about it. I'm trying to. There are things I liked about it, but there are things that seemed unnecessary and things that could be taken out. And I don't think you would have lost anything from the enjoyment of the game.
I think that it's kind of aged a little bit poorly.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. I think also there's like the nostalgia.
You mean all the crotch shots in the intro and all that, and the demon pounding in the middle of the game wasn't right for you?
It is funny going back and playing games where even just the dialogue is like it would not pass today.
No.
It's kind of
Oh,
funny to see that.
Have you seen Disney Plus and Netflix? Every time there's like they'll put disclaimers up of like, oh, this came out in a time where XYZ was acceptable, or
I
like,
haven't seen that, but I believe it.
what was one of, I think like the early, like the animated Pocahontas, for example, I think has
Whoa.
warnings on it now.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a great time we live in.
Should come with boner warnings.
That's on the Little Mermaid.
That joke was made during a time where that was funny and okay.
Oh my god.
Dude, I want to say too, man, for being, I don't remember much from this series other than the very first game, because that's the one that I really have spent the most time on. The enemies in the first game were pretty fucking cool, dude. There were like marionettes with like bladed arms and stuff like that. And then
That
there were
sounds
these,
cool.
yeah, and then there were these. They were like dogs, kind of, that were actually just shadows, and they had all these crazy moves where they could like shift and morph very quickly, and like they would like turn into a spike and just have like a lunging attack without moving. The enemies in this game were as generic as they could possibly fucking be, like Stygians or whatever. They're just generic monsters, and then there's the flying variety of these like stupid fucking cherubs. I don't know.
Yeah,
like just I don't care, dude.
It was like,
and then
Bathos and Pathos or whatever.
yeah,
like,
and then they would introduce like every single time you come up with a new enemy, they just like, Cherub 2.0. This one has a shield. You deal with it the exact same fucking way.
Yeah,
that was
and
really
that was just, it seemed like that was so unnecessary because it broke you from what you were doing. If for like the first enemy or two, it was interesting, but then when it's like after the 15th one, you're like, this is enough. I don't need all of this.
Yeah, I agree. The game, I feel like we are shitting on it a lot, but we're critiquing it, right?
Yeah,
that's what we're here to do.
We're experts.
We are, dude. We're literally professionals by definition, I think. I enjoyed the game. I really did. And I do have nostalgia for the series. Like this was a game that I used to play a lot when I was a kid on PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
I am a fan of the series. I liked the callbacks and everything like that. But there's a reason that I think if you're a fan of this game, or if you're a fan of this series, you probably understand the complaints and everything that we're saying, because this game isn't perfect, and I think it is considered a low point in the series by most. Gameplay wise, it was good. The combat was fast, but there was a lot of bad decisions being made in it.
Yeah, the bit I played, I did enjoy.
Yeah,
but when I broke myself of that initial session,
right,
there wasn't enough of an appeal to get back into it.
Yeah, and I'll say, man, like I even though I liked the game, there's a reason why I started running past enemies and getting the camera to snap back. Like I was just trying to get through it because I knew I was going to.
Right.
But it didn't take long before some of the magic faded out of this game for me.
Yeah.
I did enjoy it. If you like Devil May Cry or these types of games, just play it. These things go on sale all the time, so just get in there.
It was what, I think, how long did it take you to finish? What, 8 or 9 hours?
I think it was 7, man. I think I finished it in like 7 hours. I played through it pretty quickly. I mean, it says 9.1, but there was a time where I left it up and I went and like ate and made some food and stuff like that.
Yeah, my Little Nightmares playthrough is gonna say it was like 20 hours. Because I kept having to put my fucking controller down, or I logged in, then the baby started crying or something. Like it's fine.
When we did that other game, it took me 7.5 hours total, and I did get up and walk around from it for a while. When I got up and what am I saying, man? Submerged. That game said it took me 13 hours to beat, because I beat it, and then I put my backbone down, and my computer stayed on all night. So when I woke up in the morning, I saw it was still up on my PC in the morning, and I was like, man, it says it took me 13 hours to beat an autopilot game. Do you think it fit the spooky theme at all?
So I don't know about you. I don't like scary.
Yeah.
Okay. So for me, the reason I pitched some of these games was because I knew I wasn't going to like need to put it down or go stay up all night with the lights on.
Right.
So,
Would you say it hit the sweet spot for your spooky threshold?
no, I wanted to start because we're gonna have three not Halloween. We're gonna have three October episodes. So
You're
I
welcome.
wanted to ease in and get people into like a game that's like themed towards things that can go around in October. So we got demons and devils. For those that like
Crying.
doing this, the Devil May Cry have very good like cosplay opportunities. That's a real, for
Yeah.
all
Oh
those
yeah.
like
Yeah.
Japanese style games have very memorable character design, right?
Everything
So
about this guy says Halloween costume is
of
what you're
course,
getting at. Yeah.
yeah. I mean that jacket, great.
Yeah.
So I wanted just to bring that that to the table, and then as we get into October, I think I was going more for like the feeling while playing it, right? So
Right.
like in because we've already announced our games, Little Nightmares, I think for me so far has been the quote unquote scariest game. And it's not the scariest by any means, but I think the things you see on the screen in one, and I also played two, it's got some stuff that's like it
Yeah, like a
makes you
little bit of
take it.
horror element. Yeah.
Yeah.
This game was very light on that. Super light, actually.
Yeah, it was more like the theme is a more dark, but the execution not so much.
The bosses had the spookiness, maybe a little
Yeah.
bit, like Fetus
this
Deletus, the
Yes. Yeah,
scary
the
news
succubus,
guy.
the cutscene with her skin coming off when they're boning in the office and all that, like
Yeah.
that kind of stuff, when you see it, you're like, oh, wait a minute, because at
Mhm.
first with that scene in particular, at first I thought it was like a graphical issue.
I know,
Like,
dude.
thought
I
they
did too.
animated it wrong. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm like, oh, and then you sit there and you think about it for a minute. Oh no, something else is happening.
Yeah.
That's gross. That's what I wanted to bring to our October series.
Sure. Definitely.
You know,
So
I think this was a good intro into it. I think Little Nightmares for me, it was probably the creepiest of them all. I'm currently getting through some of We Happy Few. Oh no, we scheduled it for Little Nightmares to come out at the end. Yeah, so Little Nightmares is going to be our closest to Halloween episode.
and it sure will be the spookiest one.
Yeah, We Happy Few I'm playing through right now, and it's, I think for a theme, it's more like, ooh, that's like psychologically creepy. I think where that falls,
Yeah. Okay.
and I'm
Well,
enjoying that one.
all that being said, do you think that you would ever have any interest in playing other games from this series for leisure or business?
Not for leisure.
Okay. So, all right. I'm just curious.
Are any of the earlier ones shorter? Because I knew going into
That
this
was
that it was
not
going
a
to
long
be
game.
Well, no, okay, so Little Nightmares, Limbo, Stray, Inside, those were all 4 to 5 hours, and you
Right.
got a good chunk of it. Like I think also going into this, I knew I was gonna have to do multiple sit downs,
Okay.
and I tell you, the couple that we've done where it's like a one session play, I think I've enjoyed those the most playing through them.
I just want to say something, and this is strictly an opinion, but I think you're wrong. But listen, though, I think that if this game was more enjoyable, the time to
it's so
complete
good.
it wouldn't matter at all because God of War was good,
I
and it was
agree
one of
with
the
that.
longer games that we played.
I agree with that. Yes.
I
Yes.
think that if a game has to be short to be good, it's not a good game.
Sorry, that wasn't the angle I was trying to go at. It was more if the earlier one, because I know I'm not going to enjoy them. So if you brought an earlier one to the backlog, if it was a shorter game, I would probably be okay with playing it for the podcast,
Yeah.
because I would only have to allocate 4 or 5 hours of my time.
Right.
I agree. A good game doesn't matter how long it is.
Right.
I didn't find this good for me.
I would agree.
So,
It was
yeah.
mediocre at worst. At its greatest point, I think at fucking Barbas, it was mediocre. I'll give it 2 Bob Barbases out of
Two
3.
Mandungus. What was the guy? Mungus?
Mandingus.
Mandingus. 3 Mandinguses and a succubus.
You want to know what's that? Also sounds pornographic. That heavy. It's good. Mundus is actually the first boss of the last boss of the first game too, but he's different, very different, and much better done. I would like to one day play the first game. I have it on Steam. It is on Steam, and it's been upgraded to be HD. I'd like to play it just so you understand where the series was coming from and why I have like a little bit of nostalgia for it, other than the, familial ties of everything.
Right.
But the gameplay itself, it's only a 6-hour game, according to How Long to Beat, our favorite website. And it was a better game, I think, by a large amount.
Yeah.
It's my favorite that I've played in the series. Was the original?
I'm definitely open to playing it. I won't absolutely say no. If we're not doing it for the podcast, I'll probably never pick it up.
Right.
Similar to like Diablo. I had no plans of playing Diablo, but we brought it for the podcast, and for other reasons. But yeah. But if we're like, hey, one day we're gonna go and play this, absolutely, let's do it.
Okay. Well, I think that's all there is to discuss about it.
I think it is. I'm gonna let you go ahead and start the outro. While I go change my co-host's diaper.
Okay.
Say bye. Bye, everybody.
Thanks so much for listening. That wraps up our discussion for DMC Devil May Cry 2013. If you enjoyed this episode, please let us know with a thumbs up, a comment, or sharing with your friends and family. If you're able to do so, play along with us for our next game, which will be We Happy Few. We'll post upcoming games to our social media and what games are next at the end of the episode, which I just announced. This has been 321 Backlog with Alec and James. You can connect with us on our social media pages by sending us an email at 321backlog@gmail.com. Find us at 321backlog on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist back pages, anything you need. And until next time, I like it rough.